I am genuinely confused by women. I understand that when you're a teenager, you're like, oh, bad boys, ugh. But once you mature a little bit, hopefully, you're not actually looking for them anymore. But this is the face that women make when a sensitive and nice guy comes into their life.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope you are all doing well. So on today's episode, we are going to be covering a series of video clips from this woman right here, who is an absolute master at avoiding accountability. Okay, a lot of women, they get to around age 30 and they start to say stuff like, oh, I'm sick and tired of the bad boys. I need a man who's going to treat me well. I need dudes who are going to step up. And you are not allowed to judge her for the decisions that she made in the past when dating, right? All of the chads, the bad boys that she's gone through, guys, you are a misogynist if you judge her for such things. Now, guys, before we jump in, as always, remember to leave your comments and your thoughts. And guys, we are expanding Fiend Gang, and we have a new member, guys, who has joined our ranks. Make sure you go and give him a subscribe. I'm going to leave the graphic up at the top, get my editor to put it over, but he will be linked in the pinned comment as well as in the description. So make sure you go and give him a subscribe, and we'll be working on the quality of videos over time. Now let's jump into what this woman has to say, and let's just get down and into it.
How about instead of judging the women that are going for men who are pretending to be nice guys, how about you start judging the men who are pretending? I get all of these men commenting on my video saying that I'm the problem, it's our fault that we find these people. You do realize that when you're a nice, caring, genuine person, you attract broken people.
Okay, I'm going to have to stop you right there, madam. All of these bad boys and these guys who are quote-unquote acting like nice people, you didn't find them. You didn't stumble across them. You chose them. Okay, I don't care if your past is littered with dudes who treated you terribly. The fact of the matter is that you chose those men. You didn't find them. Okay, you didn't stumble into a relationship. You, as a woman, you have choice, you have agency in the dating market. These are two things that men, by contrast, have very little of, and you're complaining about your inability to use it correctly.
Healers attract broken people.
No, anxious people who have anxious attachment styles go after men who are avoidant. Okay, this has nothing to do with like, oh, I'm just attracting the bad boys. No, madam. You choose them. Okay, but she never wants to admit that. These girls will never admit that they're actually making their own decisions, guys. It's always going to be someone else, or they were tricked, or, they just weren't thinking correctly, all of this kind of crap, rather than, owning up for any decision at all that they make.
And when you meet somebody new and they say that they're a nice person, why wouldn't you give them the benefit of the doubt?
I don't know, maybe you could use your brain for 2 seconds, right? If someone is saying that they're nice and you look at their actions and they're clearly not, you don't have the ability to play stupid. That's the thing, is like, use your brain for 2 seconds. Oh, but he said he was nice, but then he cheated on me. But you know what? He said he was nice. Oh, he was, he lied to me all of these times, but he said that he didn't lie, so I stayed with him. Like, what are you even talking about?
Everyone's nice in the beginning. Have you not noticed that? No one is going to come up to you and blatantly say, I'm an asshole, I'm going to cheat on you, I'm going to lie to you, I'm going to manipulate you a little bit, No one's doing that. You guys are so quick to jump in the comment section and judge me as a person when you have no idea who I am, what type of person I am in a relationship, which is I will literally care for anybody.
That's got to be one of the funniest stuff that you will hear these girls say, man, right, is like, oh, I'm so caring, I'm empathetic, and that's why I choose the dudes who don't care about me, right? I put in all of this effort into these relationships, and these men, they just cheat on me, they lie to me, they manipulate me, and there's just no signs of them doing it, right? How are we, the helpless women, supposed to understand when a man is going to lie and cheat and manipulate us? And the answer to that is very simple, guys. You use your brain, right? It's really not that difficult. I have made this point countless times on recent videos, guys, like literally countless times. But if you wind back the clocks, okay, and you say for men, you know, you get men out here to choose partners for their daughters, it is very rare that those men will go out there and choose dudes who are liars, who are manipulators, who are cheaters, because we know and we look at it objectively. A lot of these girls, they'll see an attractive guy who doesn't give them a lot of attention, and they'll be glued to him like nothing else, and then they'll complain about the results. It's like, yeah, he never cared for you, he wasn't interested in you, and that's why you were there. Right? Don't give me this whole nice thing, or he appeared so nice, or he lied to me, and all this kind of crap. When, let's be honest, guys, like, I can understand, okay, I can understand if a girl makes a couple dating mistakes, okay? Maybe she's new to dating, her family wasn't that fantastic and supportive or whatever, and she might choose a couple of bad apples. Okay, I can understand that. But let's be honest, these bad apples, these guys who are manipulative cheaters, they have very obvious signs, and if anything, a lot of them are just straight up out of these women's leagues. Like, they'll be chasing a dude who's 6 foot, jacked, making 6 figures, and then they'll be complaining about the fact that he cheats on them. It's like, you could have seen that from miles away, given the fact that he's surrounded by women, but you want to believe in this this Disney fairy tale and cry when it doesn't work out for you.
But I hardly see men standing up to other men saying that behavior is wrong. Instead, it's so much easier to just attack me.
No, people are telling you you're wrong because you're refusing to take accountability, right? I don't make this video with the idea that these dudes who are out here lying or cheating or any of that, I don't think it's good. I don't think it's fantastic, okay? I don't think it's a moral thing to do, right? But there comes a point where you need to take accountability for your own decisions. And the thing is, a lot of men are not going to hold these other men accountable because we don't care. Why would we hold these other dudes accountable when you don't give a crap about the dudes who would be holding these men accountable anyway? You know, why would I go out here wagging my finger at some dude who's making a bucket load of money, who's highly attractive, who's got a lot of girls, and he's just cheating on them, when the girls are all voluntarily choosing to be there in spite of all of the red flags? Like, why would I waste my effort? Like, why would I even care about the stupid decisions that you're going out here and making? It makes absolutely no sense.
It's a fucking sad world we live in, if you think about it. And it's so much easier to praise bad behavior rather than stand up for what is right. It's pathetic.
Nobody is praising the behavior of men who cheat and lie and scam. Like, nobody is praising this behavior. All people are saying is that maybe you should take accountability for your own decisions. Right? But of course, guys, they have to flip it and go, I'm a victim. Why aren't you having a go at these men who won't commit to me? It's absolutely disgusting. Now, let's continue into the next clip here, and I'm going to bring this down so you guys can see what this little comment here says. Someone responded to her video and said, don't worry, men aren't manipulative like women, so we don't do this. And this is her response to that particular comment.
I'm sorry, but I highly disagree with this because my ex was literally one of the most manipulative people I have ever met in my entire life. He would lie and make up every single excuse he could to get what he wanted.
Yep.
Didn't help me pay for anything,
Yep.
but everything was my fault.
Yep.
Men are manipulative too, and I'm not saying all men. Doesn't matter what gender you are. There are liars everywhere. There are manipulators everywhere. There are just horrible people everywhere you go.
I'm going to pause it right there. I agree with her. There are dudes out here who will lie, and there are dudes out here who will manipulate. I don't know anyone who's saying anything contrary to that at all. But let me just say this, guys. It is absolutely magical. Just absolutely the wonder of the universe, how these women just continually manage to end up with guys who are quote-unquote manipulative, abusive, they are misogynists, right? I kind of have to dance around the language here. How these women just magically, okay, end up with these men repeatedly until they're 30 years of age, and then they start to complain and go after the quote-unquote good guys. And mind you, guys, people want to say that dudes are out here being creepy and predatory. You know what I find to be incredibly creepy and predatory? Girls who get to 30 years of age decide then to return to the guys who have always been there for her, because now he's stacked up his money and he will look after, say, the kids or the debt that she has saddled up during that period of her life. But nobody wants to talk about how that's predatory, right? Nobody will talk about how these women will literally target dudes who are willing to treat them well because now they're running out of time. Nobody will say any of that, okay? But if you're a dude and you lie to a woman, right, even though she knows that you're lying and she's choosing to be there by virtue of the fact that you're a liar, right, the dudes are evil. Fantastic stuff. Logic, guys, what is it, right?
A lot of the time, when somebody is like that, it doesn't matter what you do for them, how good you treat them. You could give them the entire world.
True.
It's never going to be good enough.
Yeah, so why are you there? That's my question. And I say this exact same thing to dudes as well, right? I don't like it when men are in relationships giving absolutely everything and they're being treated like dirt. Nobody should be staying in these relationships or these situations, okay, to try and appease people who can never be appeased. I don't care if you're a man, I don't care if you're a woman, and I'm not going to feel sympathy for you. You should get out of this situation and not try and pull this victim card, because you're going to be so much better off if you're not sitting here thinking that you're the victim of, things that aren't your decisions, when in actual fact they are.
Never, ever going to be good enough. So I'm sorry, but I don't agree with this. I don't. And I stand up for both men and women, but just because you might not be a manipulative person, and I really hope you're not, but that doesn't mean that there aren't manipulative men out there, because there are. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I agree with the premise of her video. What she said is correct right here. There are manipulative men out here, just as there are manipulative women. I will say this, though. I think that men, on average, are significantly worse at manipulation than women are. I think for dudes, it's something like manipulation for men is something that's almost manually learned, right? Dudes have to come to understand it, or they learn it from women. Girls just seem to have a natural grasp of this sort of crap, guys. Call me a misogynist if you will, but I think a lot of girls just understand this stuff. They seem to be a lot more socially adept than a lot of dudes, I'll say that. Now let's continue on to this next clip here, guys, and this is fantastic because we're going to be talking about men's mental health. So let's take a listen.
Men's mental health needs to be taken way more seriously. Every single guy friend, every single boyfriend that I've ever had, I've always made sure that they know they can be vulnerable, they can cry, they can be emotional, they can open up. It's just, the sad reality of it is I have to be strong. I have to be this and that.
You know what I find funny about these videos, guys? It's girls, they'll say that they're empathetic and they're caring, right? And they want dudes to open up. But any man who has any sense about him or has gone through these situations before knows that if you're an emotional dude, women will just leave. It really is, guys. That's the way it is. I'm not saying this to be an a-hole or anything, but it's girls will sit here and they'll say, okay, I want a dude to quote unquote open up, to share his emotions with me, all of this kind of crap. But then when they do it, it's the women just run for the hills anyway. So you can say that dudes should be more emotional, but the thing is, you don't ever select emotional dudes to ever even speak with. In fact, I would argue that men who are emotional are quite literally repulsive to women. So
you're a human being. Why is society raising men to feel like they can't be human? And it's no wonder the suicide rate is skyrocketing for them. We as people need to do better, and we need to make sure that these men feel safe. They need somebody just like we need somebody. Just because
I think it's interesting how these girls, they'll blame it on society, right? They'll say that society is not taking men's mental health seriously, which of course is true, but they always fail to recognize how they fit into that part of it, right? Women also condition men, by and large, not to be emotional. right? If you're a dude and you're emotional around a girl, typically you learn pretty quick, or someone will come along, some dude who's a bit more ahead of you will come and tell you that it's a stupid idea, because girls just won't really talk to you if you're an emotional guy. But they'll never understand how they contribute to this, right? They'll say, oh, society doesn't take men's emotions seriously, okay? But when dudes are emotional around these women, they don't give a crap, right? They're quite literally repulsed by a gentleman. You know, and this is where you see the mismatch, okay, between what they say and what they actually do. And how do I know this of this particular woman? Because she's described how she's been with dudes who are straight up manipulative, who are liars, who are this and that, okay? I don't imagine that these dudes are particularly emotional. And if they are, they're probably lying about their emotions as well. You see what I'm saying? So it's like society doesn't care about men with emotions, and yet she's out here exclusively selecting dudes who don't show her emotions or don't show her authentic ones. So like, but they never understand how they fit into the broader picture of it, right?
Because we're women doesn't mean that we have more of a right for mental health advocacy. These guys need it too. They've needed it forever. If anything, crying and being vulnerable, you should gain more respect, to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't understand how people can go their entire lives without showing emotion. Like, it's sad. It's really sad, and it really upsets me. We have to do better. Men.
And that's the end of the clip right there. And I'll say a couple points and then we'll jump into some of these comments that are on this particular video, okay? But if girls were so, like, attracted and they just love dudes who are so emotional, can someone tell me why all of the very incredibly attractive character archetypes to women are all completely emotionless and sociopathic? Okay, let me give you an example. There is a show on Netflix that I brought up the other day as per some woman's TikTok, called Peaky Blinders, okay? And there is a character in that show called Tommy Shelby, and I think it's on Netflix. And that character has become like the heartthrob of a lot of women, guys. Like kind of like the new Michael Gray or whatever the guy's name is from 50 Shades of Grey. He's become the new heartthrob. I've seen a good part of that series, and I don't think I've ever seen that dude cry at all. Right, and you'll notice such a big mismatch between what these women say that they want and what they actually want. Like, oh, I find it respectable when dudes cry, okay? But if you go to their literature, guys, there is no respectable man in their literature that they are obsessed with who cries at all. It just makes absolutely no sense. Now, let's jump into some of these comments here and see if I can pull some of these up as my character's a little bit small. Let's make ourselves a bit bigger here if I can click the damn thing. There we go. So, first individual here says, men, we need to protect this one at all costs. She may actually hold the key to gender equality. So obviously Cormac here has taken the bait and believes what she says. Fantastic stuff for you, Cormac. Dominic here says, the reason we feel we can't be emotionally vulnerable is because it either gets dismissed or women get turned off if we go over our emotional limit. See, this guy understands, right? They cried with you and that's why they're exes now, right? And let's have a look at her responses here, actually. I gave them a safe space, but I will not stay where I am not valued. So obviously she's just like avoiding it. Look at this. He says, they cried with you and that's why they're now exes, right? And she says, I will not stay somewhere that I'm not valued, as if that had anything to do with the question. No, they're exes because they were liars, cheaters, and manipulators. But nice try, though. That's somehow what I would expect from guys who cry to their girlfriends. Men are humans too is not what we hear. Men up and get over it is what we hear, and we get some fake compassion. Guys, like, I am not a believer in all of this, like, compassion on TikTok. I think a lot of these women, they make videos like this, one, failing to understand how they fit into the puzzle at all. And number two, a lot of them do this because they know dudes will come into their comments and go, oh, wow, you're so fantastic, and crap like that. Now, guys, I have a couple of Reddit stories that I'm going to be sharing with you, gentlemen, and then we're going to be wrapping up today's episode. So let's take a bit of a listen as to what we have here. And this is a story, speaking of losing emotions, right? We have a story here written by an individual whose name I can't pronounce. It says, I bumped into my ex-girlfriend after 7 days. What now? So let's jump in. He says, hi all. So last Friday, my ex-girlfriend decided that this relationship was no longer for her. I'll save the detail, but basically basically she fell out of love. She felt the spark had gone, etc. We'd been together for 4 years. We weren't arguing or anything. I just think she wanted a more fast-paced, crazy relationship, and that wasn't something that I could do, considering I just bought my first property. Although we did have amazing nights away, meals out and etc., but not spontaneous enough as she liked. Anyway, it was really sad for the both of us. She was super upset, like crying more than I was, told me she still loved me, etc., etc. So this woman, quote unquote, fell out of feelings for this guy just out of the blue, even though he's doing everything right. You know, he's got his house, you know, he still loves her. And it's funny how the woman cries. Like, she's ending the relationship even though everything seems to be working aside from her feelings. You know, she just fell out of love, but she's still here saying that she still loves him. Right? Make that make sense. So she fell out of love, yet she's sitting here bawling her eyes out when she broke up with him, saying that she loved him. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Fast forward a week, we haven't spoken at all since the day it ended, and I told her I respected her decision. Still, we have each other on socials, still liking my pictures, and still sharing our locations. I went to get some breakfast and bumped into her. We live nearby, and we spoke for around 10 minutes. She asked how I was, said I looked well. She commented on my new trainers. She spoke about her family. She spoke about her holiday, and we laughed. So I thought, you know what the F it, and said, fancy a coffee next week. And she initially said, I don't know if I can. Like, I've hurt you too much. The other week was the saddest day of my life. So this is amazing. Okay, this woman said that she fell out of feelings. She broke up with the guy. At the end of the breakup, she's saying that she loved him, and now she wants to hang out with him again, saying that she hurt him so much. Guys, girls like this are just absolutely crazy. You have no reason to continue talking to them ever. Like, I don't understand why this guy would even ask her to coffee. To be honest, I think that's quite disgusting. Just kick her out to the curb and let the streets reclaim her. She said, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? Maybe we could. I just don't want to give you any false hope. So basically, she just wants to keep this guy along for, you know, either friends with benefits or, you know, attention and validation and crap like that. I said, it's only an excuse for me to see your dog anyway. Don't get your hopes up. She then laughed and smiled. I said, then well, let me know your availability next week and we'll link up. She said, okay, I will do. I said, I better go as I've got a lot on today. We smiled and walked opposite directions. Now my dilemma. Realistically, deep down, I want to rekindle things. But after a week of reflection, I think to myself, why would I want to be with someone who dropped me like that without even communicating and trying to fix it? Is she just being friendly, or is there a chance the spark that faded could come back after a friendly meeting? What's there to lose? You only have one life, right? If it fails, I know I can say we tried. This is disgusting on this guy's part here, trying to rekindle and get this woman back into his life. Guys, don't ever try and do crap like this where you try and like restart things. Just go and find another girl if you're interested in dating. There really is no point. And a lot of these individuals who do crazy behavior like this, it's only going to get worse over time if you show that you are accepting of it. Excuse me. Now let's jump into this next Reddit story here, guys. Then we will wrap up today's episode. So it is titled, Should I Tell My Friend to Break Up with Her Boyfriend? I, a 22-year-old female, hate to involve myself in my best friend Cherry, who is a 23-year-old female's relationship, but I don't like seeing her hurt. Cherry has been in a relationship with Nate, who is a 23-year-old male, for over 5 months now, and she's told me that he cheated on her. There is evidence to back up that he cheated on her within the first month. For example, one of Cherry's friends goes to the same college as Nate, and they took a picture of Nate with another girl. After she confronted him, he told her that the girl he was with was gay and that they like to hold hands just because, and she somehow believed him. So right out the gate, let's just assume that this is true and this guy is cheating on her. It's like, again, guys, I have no idea why people are just staying in relationships with people who cheat on them and stuff like that. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Okay, if this turns out to be true and the guy cheated and the girl stays, like, it's gotten to the point where I wouldn't even be shocked anymore. Like, I just wouldn't be shocked. Last month, she caught him and the same girl together, and it turns out that she's straight. Somehow, she ended up believing his lies when he told her that the girl is just obsessed with him. I'm so confused. My best friend has been acting so differently. She's not the type to fall for lies. 2 days ago, she called me crying from one of Nate's parties. She wanted me to pick her up because Nate was being toxic. She ended up hanging up the phone when Nate came in the room yelling at her. 5 minutes later, Nate called me on her phone and told me that Cherry is acting intoxicated and she was not in the right state of mind. He accused her of cheating because she said hi to his cousin. She then told me that Nate was right and that everything is her fault because she's intoxicated. I hate to intervene, but I have to witness how he manipulates her, lies to her, and constantly encourages her to do things that are unhealthy. I want to talk to her before it's too late, but I don't know how to approach this situation because I hate involving myself in people's relationships. Right? Fantastic stuff, guys. You know, these people should honestly just leave each other. Okay, I see a lot of situations where there's just no good to come of it, and I have no idea why these individuals are together. Guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, remember to leave your thoughts and your comments. If you have any opinions or experiences that you would like to share, feel free to do so. That is what the comments box is for. Don't forget to subscribe to our newest member of Fiend Gang, guys. We are slowly going to be expanding our ranks over here and, you know, going through some iterations of content as we bring on new content creators and make their stuff better over time. So, guys, don't forget to subscribe to that guy. I'll get my editor to whack up a graphic while I'm talking. And as always, gentlemen, make sure to take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace. Yo, what is going on, guys? Past Taylor here. Just want to say thank you if you made it to the end of today's video. Before you head out, there's just a few announcements that I'd like to make. The first is that my editor, who goes through all of the blood, sweat, and tears of putting together content for us to endure, has started his own YouTube channel. The link will be in the video description, so make sure that you go and show him some support by going and giving him a sub. Also, we are currently looking to expand fiendish content creation behind the scenes, so if you're interested in becoming a content creator alongside me, be sure to check out the application form at the very bottom of the video description. This is for those of you who are interested in becoming a part of the content that you see here on YouTube. So if you're interested in applying, make sure to get in quick. People who apply first will have priority for consideration. Again, the link is at the very bottom of the video description. Lastly, if you guys are interested in supporting the channel, there are links to both Patreon and locals below the video, guys. I'd like to extend a huge thank you to the supporters on those two platforms. You guys allow me to make these episodes, and your support is greatly appreciated. As always, guys, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I will catch you later for real this time, guys. Peace.